The court has put in place elaborate measures by the way of pre-trial conferencing to ensure speedy trials in these cases. For this reason, also bail is denied, as the trials will not delay. All parties are encouraged to participate fully in the pre-trial conferences and allow the trials to hit the road as soon as possible.
All right, that is Chief Magistrate Ogoti when he ruled on the bail application for those 43 NYS suspects. They'll remain behind bars until this matter is heard and concluded, finding that it's a weighty issue and that, in fact, it will be expeditiously dealt with in good time. And Apollo Mboya, let me bring this to you because some concerns are that this erodes the principle of one is deemed innocent and until proven guilty, that they have to be behind bars for this period of time, no matter how long it will take.
You see, for the charges that have been leveled in the NYS case, they are entitled to bail. But bail also can be denied for reasons that were outlined by the chief magistrate.
Right.
For example, if they feel that a suspect might interfere with the investigation, bail can be denied. If they fear that the suspect can be a flight risk, bail can be denied. So there are several reasons why bail can be denied.
Yeah.
And any person who feels that they have been denied bail for reasons that are not proper can appeal that aspect. But coming to the issues of even on injunction, because I needed to plug on that issue, we have seen also, even as much as some people like Kangwaja has got a view that there's weaponization of the judiciary, we have also seen judiciary actually giving injunction, gagging the media from speaking on certain issues touching on corruption. Now, sometimes you are being gagged, including myself. I've been gagged on my client's case. Yet, the particular person we are talking about does not have any character that is capable of being defamed, because already the person's character is questionable, arising out of the issues that are before the court or before the investigative agencies. So there is no character that is capable of being defamed for the press to be gagged or for any other person.
That's arguable. That's an opinion. You may feel it.
Yes.
It is not possible to defame, but one, is entitled to how they feel about their character, isn't it?
Yeah, but the issue is this: you are only defamed if you are of good character. Okay,
and that's who determines good character, but we're going off base, so let's come back to our conversation tonight. And Prof, you talked about weaponization of the judiciary. So this kind of an order that is seen in some instances and circles as a great indicator of how the judiciary should handle corruption matters when they're brought before them.
Now, let's agree basically that judiciary or courts do not exist in isolation in a democratic society. They work in tandem with other institutions, and they are guided by the spirit of the nation, the common good, what is good for the nation. I think the problem we have had with the courts, and that is a preface to what you are asking, is that we saw from 2011, 2012, 2013, courts letting free people who have been charged with terrorism. They came, the intelligence has been brought, but they say this is intelligence, it is not prosecutable, and they set them free, and then they come back and do harm to our people, or they are caught again attempting the same thing. And there was that debate between the former Chief Justice, Mutunga, and members of the executive about that matter. Now, we have come to the issue of corruption, which is another fatal threat, if you wish, existential threat to us. The public believes strongly that the government is doing nothing. Now, if you look at the 2015 March action by the president after his parliamentary State of the Nation speech, 4 cabinet ministers were removed instantly. A number of secretaries, PSs, at that time were removed. Why did the public feel that nothing was done, even when they were let free? Because they were never prosecuted.
Yes.
So, and when the president explained what is happening, he said he's frustrated by the courts. that is the explanation he gave. Now, he also said that he's frustrated by the machinery that is
the investigative organs.
The whole investigative and prosecutorial. And then this is when the debate about cartels that had infiltrated the judiciary, doing, I mean, entrepreneurial business from one to the other, to the point that the case does not reach where it is supposed to be reached.
Okay.
So what you have seen now...
So you said the judiciary has been compromised, in essence.
First, the prosecutorial, the investigative and prosecutorial bodies were themselves compromised. The change we are witnessing now is that the government has taken the case, the core of the government. We are talking about the intelligence, we are talking about the police, we are talking about the prosecutor, if you wish. Haji.
So across the board.
Haji comes from the securities. So he's sworn to that. Therefore, this is where you are not finding this civilian cahooting, the citizens now bargaining again, letting corrupt people out.
Okay.
Now, this is not happening. The problem which is now being cited is that if the investigation and prosecution is going right, is the court going to play ball and deal with corruption? And that's where Comrade Omutata is coming in, that in a sense, some of the things they are litigating against are actually defeating the cause of anti-corruption. And therefore, corruption seems to be fighting back through innocent champions of citizens' interests like Comrade Omutata.
What do you say to that? Because at the end of the day, his argument has been, if there's an issue, it should be appealed.
They're just making noises.
Just be decent.
The argument is because you are referring to me as an agent of whatever, subverting the state. I cannot be decent when you refer to me as an agent of subverting the state. I don't subvert the state. I fight to hold the state together. And I will tell you one thing. I will not condemn a judge. A judge sits at the tail end of the problem. The judge will make a decision depending on the evidence he has been given. And I would hate the day when a judge will ignore evidence and do things because it is popular to do that. The problem we have is the kind of cases that are presented before these judges, and even what I'm seeing now with the NYS issue.
Right.
It's likely to end up nowhere, given the kind of things I've seen, things I've seen being presented as evidence. And when you come back to that thing also again is that what is going on right now is hyped. It's a staged war on corruption. If I was to deal with the NYS, I would begin with the characters who took 80 billion shillings and dumped it in an institution without tying it to any projects. If you know how budgeting is done in this country, it's impossible to steal from the public.
So you think this is war?
It is designed from the top.
Okay. So do you agree with the political class that says
this is political class stealing? This money, how do you take 80 billion shillings, put in the NYS, that money gets stolen, the NYS is functioning normally, nothing is going wrong. This money, if it was money that was tied to projects, they should be telling us this money was to do ABCD, it was just been stolen, the project has stalled. No project of the NYS has stalled.
Okay.
This is money that was dumped there to be stolen, and they are now chasing the rats, the small rats. The big guys
are still
with whom Professor Kagwanja wines and dines, are still protected by the corruption networks. And that's why Professor Kagwanja is talking in their favor that people like Omutata, the rabble rousers, as he calls us, as he dismisses us, are the ones who are the problem. To me, the problem is the investigative agencies.
Okay.
And the only reason why even the NYS thing has moved a bit far is because the so-called Anti-Corruption Commission has been kept out of the fray. That has been one area
They've been sidelined. All right.
There's been one area for mischaracterizing crime.
You want to rebut?
Yeah, but first and foremost, dining and whining is not a crime. Let's
I
start
don't think
there.
it's a crime. I just
No,
said that.
dining and whining with anybody is not a crime.
Okay.
But the people...
Sophie, I think you have to control this.
Yes, the two of you.
we are okay, we are okay. Don't
You're
worry about
okay,
it. We
yes.
are okay.
So,
I stayed in this house in Addis Ababa.
Yes, we are okay.
so this is just
And he
professional
So
dispute
I
here.
hosted him in Addis Ababa.
No,
So the people
don't
with which
digress. Don't take my time.
All right,
I
don't take
waited
his time. Our time is running out. Apollo,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
also concern as we're talking about the various cases.
Yes.
The budget
Yes.
for the judiciary
Yes.
has been slashed.
Yes.
And many lawyers have taken this to mean the revisiting that the president talked about. Do
Yes.
you see it in that way?
Actually, what is happening, the budgeting for judiciary, I was shocked. First of all, I think it was on Friday when I saw that they suspended the medical cover
Yeah.
for all the judicial staff, judges plus their support staff. That is just gross. It is just gross. So that's an aspect that I think when we're talking about the independence of the judiciary, then we can talk that one the whole day. Because independence is not only on the functions that they do, but also there are certain aspects of independence that judiciary should have. You know, the financial autonomy is very difficult to, because it's one government. But then again, if you can just slash, you know, a huge chunk of the budget of one arm of the government, it's actually the government self-cannibalizing, because that's one government. Government is composed of three arms: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature.
Yeah.
So it is a question of two arms cannibalizing, another arm of government.
Yeah.
It is very gross. And I think that is something that has to be talked about.
Right.
But again, also, on the issue of corruption, you will see that there are even certain institutions that in this war of corruption, it's not only the judiciary, it's a whole chain, and we have all appreciated, starting from investigation until at the tail end we have the judiciary. You will find that there is a war that is also being waged against this institution that is supposed to fight corruption. Instead of fighting the people who are corrupt, other people are waging war against EACC. I don't understand. Instead of supporting EACC, they're already waging war. And you've seen even these calls that let's disband it. Instead of supporting the DPP, other people are waging war against this institution. So this, we must understand the kind of terrain that we are fighting this war on corruption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you read ill motive with the slashing of the judiciary budget at a time where there's sharp focus on them? Time and again we hear the president saying, don't frustrate the war on corruption.
I come from the school of thought that there is the clergy, there are business people, entrepreneurs, and there are politicians. And politicians are warriors. Take it that from me. Across the world, from Alexander...
Warriors that should be protecting the interest of Wanjiko, not fighting to...
That's the ethical interpretation. Politicians are warriors. From Alexander the Great to Uhuru Kenyatta, they are all warriors. And when they feel that their interests are endangered, they fight back. I think my word is, we need to distinguish between our wars and war against institutions. Our institutions need to be protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a fight back.
The politicians,
I'm saying
it might not be a fight back, but I'm saying that politicians across the world, everywhere, have that mentality of a warrior. And therefore, your enemy might be in judiciary, your enemy might be in the church, your enemy might be in the farming. Wherever you think your enemy is, you fight them. That's what warriors do. I think a rational appeal would be, we have very young institutions, which are almost 7 years now since we passed the Constitution. And these institutions need to be nurtured.
Right.
Therefore, cutting money on judiciary and not across the board in a manner that seems rational might not pay dividends. We need to protect that. But that does not mean that the politician will not do war against a judge or whatever who they think is undermining their interests. This is normal business for politicians.
But aren't there structures to do that? If there's a concern with the judge, there's a JSC, there's procedure. Why get into this all bloody type of a situation we're seeing playing out?
Well, it's a bit stressful, but I think what we need is that some of these key institutions need to be protected from the politics of the day so that they are not dependent on the moods of politicians for their budgeting and whatever. So maybe it's an area we need to go to, just like we look at the essential services, where we deal with the strikes that have been crippling the country. We need to come up with some legislation or some structure to deal with the essential services whereby we are able to address the grievances of these people without them having to withdraw their services.
Right.
So there's a lot of thinking that needs to go into that area. But just to go back on the statement where the president came out in 2015, gave executive order number 6, he gave the list of shame and was being attacked. I'm the only person who went to court to defend the president and got orders on interpretations on whether the president had power to order governors and people out of office or not. I'm the one who did that. And I supported Uhuru Kenyatta because I agreed with what he did. So this attempt to portray that the orders I get are anti the state is not true. The orders I get are for building the state. And for the judiciary, I think it's really unfair to debate this institution as if we are discussing a game of football. These are people charged with very, very weighty issues. And even me, when I'm in court and they rule against me, I look at it and I appreciate and I take it that at least it has stopped me from going to stab somebody in the back.
Yeah.
Literally with a knife. So they play a very, very important role. And I think that interfering with their budget, if that's what has happened, I saw the...
Well, it's been slashed.
Circular, it has been slashed. I don't know why it has been slashed, whether it's going to happen in other departments, as Professor says, it might be across board or not. But the issue is that the judiciary needs to be facilitated. And not just the budget for medical or whatever. Even this business of judges taking notes.
That's true.
When you're talking and whatever, taking notes and doing whatever, we need to get out of that. We need to modernize.
Okay.
We need to give them more researchers. We need to give them more workers. So that, because they're the people who are the arbiters, so that whatever they do can stand the test of time. And we don't want to go back to post-2007, when there was no faith in the judiciary and and Mungiki ranked higher than the judiciary. If you had a problem, you go to Mungiki, not to the judiciary. We need not to go back there.
All right. Apollo, you have taken on Kenya Power and relentlessly run this campaign even on social media. And many Kenyans have come out to thank you and laud your efforts. What is it ordinary Mwananchi can do? What is it Wanjiko, wherever they are, what can we all do? Because this... the ping pong around institutions is one thing, but there's ordinary Mwananchi role. Is there something?
Yes. First of all, I also have to thank Kenyans, especially on the social media, who have also been, encouraging me, but also contributing. And that's one thing that the Mwananchi can do. But coming down to Kenya Power and even some other institutions, let me tell you, and I think this one is where we will all agree together, all the panelists. You'll find, whenever we are talking about this small fish issue, it is actually true. Because, take, for example, Kenya Power. Kenya Power steals from the public, then after they deny, then they write to me a letter that, yes, we stole from the consumers, and then they stop there. They don't say, we are going to credit those accounts that were inflated. But then what happens? They purport to do some audit, and then 1.5 weeks ago, you saw some people were sacked. Yet, the leader in that institution, the chief executive, who actually signed all those contracts, is sitting there and is not stepping aside. And even to go even further, and this one I think ladies should also watch out, because in this corruption, there is also a gender aspect of it. I'll give you the gender aspect
briefly,
of it. Yes. Look at what happened in Kenya Ports Authority, okay? Did the MD steal money? No, but was asked to step aside because there were some inefficiencies. But we have now, in other institutions, where money has been lost. Kenya Power, now Ketraco, and those MDs are still there, and they are men. We must talk it the way it is.
Okay.
And we are asking Lillian, the PS, who is a lady, to step aside because money has been lost. How about all these other men?
Okay,
yeah.
Your point has been made. As you give us your closing remarks, Prof, so politicians are bringing politics, as usually they do in their practice, into this corruption issue. And those in Ruto's camp arguing that their man is being targeted and that this is a narrative to try and interfere with his ambition.
Let me say this. We are saying that Uhuru Kenyatta has a legacy made of 4 pillars, and they are mentioned. That's faulty. Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy is dealing with corruption. Development will do. If we finish corruption in this country, we are okay to do business. Because the money we are losing through corruption, and I have tried to calculate the statistical part of it, is enough to build 5 standard gauge railways moving from Mombasa to Busia and back.
Okay.
Now, I don't think we would even need to go out to get money if we gathered what we are making here. So whether somebody feels that they are being targeted or they are not targeted, take it from me, my generation are not going to condone this. We've gone through it. We have written books, if you look at my name, on corruption, gotten grants to do research on corruption and what to do with it. We have attended conferences on corruption. We have wasted our time in bars and other public places talking about corruption. Time is up.
So when they say they're feeling that their man is being cornered and that they'll hit back, it's like admitting your side is corrupt, our side is corrupt, and now we're going to start
the point is,
yeah.
Corruption is, I mean, I know we have spent a great deal of time here talking about judiciary and talking about other institutions. The single place where the war on corruption is defeated is at the platform of ethnicity. Yes. Because when something is mentioned, you now come quickly to defend your kith and kin. And thereby, because of political compromises and the interests, the war on corruption is sacrificed.
Okay.
I think we need to go beyond that, particularly for those of us who have no other interest except serving Kenya. We write, we'll talk about it. People will say the Kikuyus, the Kalenjins, the Luos, the Ruyas, the others are finishing each other. But this time, the Kenyan has to speak. That's why I'm saying Comrade Omutata should not be defeating the cause of corruption by allowing people to go scotch-free just because he feels that some nitty-gritties.
All right, our time is up. Omtata, I'll give you the final word, 30 seconds, please, on what you think ordinary Mwananchi can do in this war, if at all it is a war on corruption.
The only way when the ordinary Mwananchi can participate is we should call things by their name. No. When you use the word corruption, you mischaracterize theft. Yeah. If people were to stand up and say these are thieves and these are the corrupt, you might find people moving to be called corrupt other than to be called the thieves. This is theft by public servants. We should call it theft and deal with it as theft. And one thing I've liked about what has happened with the NYS, they were not taken on a catwalk at the EACC, where people are doing catwalks and what have you.
The revolving doors.
They have been taken to a police cell. They're under an OCS. They are sleeping on the bare floor, I hope it is. And they are going to be prosecuted as criminals, not as some people
alleged.
Yes. So the issue is, for me, for the Mwananchi to be able to participate, we must get away from this mischaracterization of this crime. Call it theft and tell Mwananchi, mulika mwizi. And I think Mwananchi will participate and will be able to do it. But on the other side, there are cases of corruption whereby you really see the big people covering up. You see like what happened with the Ministry of Health, where the president's family was involved in 5 billion. The theft
allegations were made to that extent because whatever it is, proven.
Yeah, they have not been proved, but it was never been probed. The ASCC ran there, and we have never heard of that thing. The containers are still rotting there. So when the president says he's fighting corruption, and in his own family, we see characters who have been alleged to be corrupt, not being locked up, not being taken through the same rigor the people of NYS are going through, then the Mwananchi has got no business to participate. He will say, hii ni tamasha.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry to rush you, but our time is really out. Okia Omtata, Professor Kagwanja, having a good laugh there, and Apollo Mboya. We thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight on Checkpoint, and for you for being part of this conversation. We're taking a break. When we return, my colleague Robinson Okenya will be coming up with the sports news. Please stay with us.
Thank you.